There we go. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Natilik webinar Wednesday. Today, we're going to be talking around the roadmap for Cisco Webex, so the future of video conferencing. Delighted to be joined by Sean McQuade, who's going to be our technical expert, taking you through the content today and presenting everything to you. So, without further ado, over to you, Sean.
Thanks, Robbie. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. As Robbie said, my name is Sean, and just really wanted to take a few minutes to run through some of the features coming to Webex over the coming months, and that includes meetings, messaging with Teams, and calling, which all sit under the single Webex brand. So first thing to note, and probably the biggest change that's coming this year, is the move toward the unified app. Right now it is a little disjointed, and Cisco knows it is, and that's why they're working hard on this unified client. So right now, for example, if you join a meeting from Webex Teams, you'll get a slightly different feature set from joining it from the Webex client itself. So the team have been working very hard to keep feature parity between the two clients, and they've recently introduced a lot of great UI enhancements to Teams to make the meetings a bit more like the Webex meetings. But the move toward the single unified client for messages, meeting, and calling just makes sense. So it would be a modular app, which essentially means you can deploy it as messaging only if you only want your employees to use it for messaging. You could have calling and meetings only, and of course the full collaboration suite. So that is an option. You can deploy that by user groups, by different departments. Some people you may not want to use messaging on it at all. They just want calling and meetings, and that's it. So this is going to be a big thing going forward. It's going to be available probably in late fourth quarter calendar year. So look out for that being rolled out later this year. But in the meantime, there are still a lot of great things coming to the Webex clients and functionality that you have today, including finally, right? Everyone's been asking for this. I mean, honestly, I think this is a feature that was never really on Cisco's radar, but things are different now. Everyone is working from home. They have to work from their kitchen or from their bedroom, and they have kids playing and other people, and it's really driven demand for this feature. Right now, it's actually available already on iOS, so you can get this on your iPhone or your iPad today. Background blur. It's coming to macOS this month. Background blur will be in macOS, and in July they're targeting background replacement, where you can actually put a scene behind you or a picture. Windows will be a little later than Mac. It's still targeted for Q3, which is going to be June, July, August. At some point, it may be slightly later than Mac, but these are the targets that we have now. But it will be soon. Background blur should be this month. Again, you can already get it in on your iPhone, but coming to desktop, Mac OS this month, and Windows soon after. So hopefully you all know about Webex Assistant already. If you don't, it's basically the built-in kind of digital assistant for Webex, which is similar to Alexa or Siri that you have on your phone, and you can use voice commands to do different things on Webex registered video devices. You can say, hey, okay, Webex, join my meeting, those kind of things. So one of the cool things that's coming to Webex Assistant is the ability to do ad hoc meeting bookings. You previously weren't able to do this, but you can now walk into a meeting room that has a Webex device in there and say, okay, Webex, book this room for 30 minutes, and all of a sudden you have a Webex meeting booked in that room. You can then get people to join, share that link. So that's something you were never really able to do on the fly. You can also extend meetings on the fly, again, just using the Webex Assistant voice commands. In addition to that, Webex Assistant is really being bolstered to move outside of just being this voice command assistant that's like Alexa. It can do so much more now. So transcripts and recording is something that they're already available on Webex today, but with Webex Assistant transcription and highlights, it really takes it up a notch. So it can do accurate transcription and closed caption in the meeting itself. But one of the great features is it provides the transcriptions and highlights and actions after the meeting that you can share with your attendees or anybody outside the call. So, I mean, how many times have you sat here in a meeting, you're scribbling down notes, you're typing out notes, afterwards you spend another 30 minutes typing up an email and putting in nice bullet points for people and actions for everybody, and then you've got to go back to the meeting, find out who was on the meeting and copy their emails into the email. You know, it's a pain and nobody really likes doing it, right? So with the meeting follow-up and highlights, it shows a transcription of the meeting, and it also intelligently highlights. It says, you know, a decision was made, or here's an action, here's a question, here's something needs to be followed up on. So it does all this automatically. It's all automated, and it'll give you a highlight list of actions taken throughout that meeting, and then it's just a one-button click to share. You can click on the share button. It shows you the attendees. You can type in other people in your organization and share those highlights off and those actions. So it's really automating a lot of that post kind of meeting, those post meeting actions that are they're kind of admin tasks that Webex Assistant is going to start doing those things for you. Again, this is opt-in. It's something that can be enabled on your site and coming this month. All of this, of course, backed up by Cisco security standards. I actually did a whole webinar just on Webex security a few weeks ago, so if you haven't checked that out, please do. But needless to say, they are kind of industry standard in terms of how your information, your recordings, your transcriptions are stored, all completely encrypted end to end. So yeah, check out that webinar if you want to know more about that, or reach out to me. And the last big thing on Webex meetings is the ability to stream to all your platforms. So this, you have been able to do this in to some degree for a while in events, but now for meetings or events, you can stream out to more social platforms. So that includes Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn. You can essentially reach a much larger audience rather than having those people join your Webex. You spin up a Webex meeting, you stream out to your Facebook account, out to your LinkedIn account, whatever, and people can watch that from Facebook or watch it from LinkedIn or YouTube, whatever they're used to watching it in. So it's a way that you can reach a much larger audience with your meetings and stream live out to all these platforms. So the list you see on your screen, it's not an exhaustive list. It's basically anything that supports the real-time messaging protocol. So there may be other platforms you may use that are supported but just aren't listed here. So yeah, I mean, if that's something you guys are interested in, please again, please reach out. So what's coming up in Webex Teams? So this is actually, it's a very simple kind of UI change that people have been really asking for quite a while. That right now, if you're in a Webex meeting, Teams will display a little meeting icon and let everyone know that you're in a meeting. But let's say you have a meeting that's not within Webex, or you're just on a call on your cell phone, or you're meeting in a physical space somewhere. Previously, people didn't really know you were in a meeting, but now Teams can link into Outlook via hybrid calendar and let people know that you've got a meeting on your calendar. So you'll see from the display that it displays slightly differently. You won't have the video icon or the meeting icon, but it'll say that you're in a calendar meeting, which basically means there is a meeting in this person's calendar. They may or may not be available. So it links directly into your Outlook and pulls your availability from Outlook. It's a fairly simple feature that people have been asking for quite a while. This is actually available right now upon request. So if you're interested in this, please reach out to your account team. XMPP integration. So this is actually a huge one for a lot of people who are using Jabber today, and it's been one of the reasons that a lot of companies have been reticent to make the move from Jabber across to Teams. Jabber and IMP, they have XMPP Federation, which means you can communicate with other Jabber or XMPP clients in other companies outside of your organization. Teams has not had this ability natively, and it's now coming to Teams. So it means that you can move across to Teams from Jabber. You can keep your contacts that you already have. All those will be migrated across to you, and you can still one-to-one message those contacts that you have in Jabber today that are outside of your organization. So yeah, again, this is a big one for certain clients who are kind of waiting on this support to be able to start to migrate from Jabber. And then in relation to that, contact management in general is changing for teams. It has been, the same as XMPP. It's been a bit of a bugbear for people who they're used to the old style contact list. You go in, you add your contacts, and rather than seeing a list of people you've been speaking to recently, you actually see a list of people you have added as a contact. So I mean that's kind of how people were used to for a long time using messaging clients. And it hasn't been available in Teams. Essentially in Teams, you speak to someone, you create a space, and the list of spaces is the list of or essentially the most recently used. So what's coming to Teams is they're completely changing the contact management. You can add contacts from manually from your contact list. You can add favorites from your company. You can search for clients from Outlook from your phone, iOS, and dial and message them. So it's much better if that's the kind of thing you're looking for. And these were historically known as pizza guy contacts back in the Java world. So you could go in and just manually add your contact. So this is something that's common, targeted for next month. So yeah, availability very soon. You can also now transfer to another device when using Teams for calling. So if you answer a call on your desktop and you got to get on the move, you can open the app on your phone, one button, take that call. It's something that if you're used to on-premise with Call Manager and you had stuff like single number reach and mobility, it's something that you're probably used to being able to do on the client. Again, it's something that hasn't been available in Teams historically, but that's a great feature that gives you a lot of mobility using the app on your desktop or on your mobile. You can move a call between both of them, and it's just it's a single button just to move that call. Yeah, so I did mention that the security webinar we did a few weeks ago, where I went into security and DLP, data loss prevention, in quite a bit of depth, but this is a really great enhancement that's coming to Teams, especially if you're in an organization that is pressed on compliance and on security, especially if you're in the financial world. With the DLP solution like CloudLock, for example, it can monitor for keywords like confidential, or it can monitor for credit card numbers, and it can put a hold on those messages or delete them and alert somebody that those messages have been exchanged. But this is going to really enhance that, because you can mark entire spaces with certain security requirements. So secret, we've called it as an example here, won't let any external parties into the space. And what this really does is it enables users to stay aware and stay compliant with your company policies. So that will be available. It should be available this month. Again, if this is something that that you really wanted to see in Teams, or something you needed to see, then yeah, please reach out. And so guys, that's just really a small part of what's coming to these applications. There's a huge list of roadmap items and very recently delivered items. I mentioned earlier about grid view that came to Webex Teams for meetings. That wasn't around, and grid view was something that everybody wanted. That's now available in Teams. So whilst they work towards this unified client, there's a great lot of work being done in UI enhancements and feature parity between the clients. So there's just a huge list of roadmap items, stuff that's just recently been delivered that we just don't have time to cover in this webinar today. So we have things like co-branding experiences, mobile device management support, Face ID support, federation enhancements, so all coming this month, next month, or very soon. So if you want to go into anything specific that I've mentioned, like the unified app, or how that might work for you, or if there are any features you've been looking for specifically, which may already be on the roadmap, or we can talk about them, please reach out and we can go over those. So now I'll hand back to Robbie and see if there have been any questions.
Yeah, sure. I think we got one from Eric in the chat, just around the Jabber integration, specifically sort of the XMPP piece. So just whether the Jabber integration is also for on-premises Jabber, or whether it's just cloud-based Jabber. Do you happen to know?
Yeah, it is for on-premise as well. There are some prerequisites around that. Basically, it can be, so if the other end is on-premise Jabber, as long as they have the XMPP Federation set up today, then teams can do the same XMPP Federation with those with that on-premise client. So yeah, it can be both. There are a few prerequisites around on-premise and what you need to have set up, but if XMPP Federation is set up on-premise today, then yeah, it would be supported.
Cool. Okay. That was the only question that we had in the Q&A. Just see if anyone else would like to reach out there now. Looks like that's about it, Sean, to be honest. So I think that I think that does it for us, to be honest. So yeah, I suppose the only other thing to mention as well is just our Natilik trials as well, Sean. If you wouldn't mind pumping on to the next shot. So if anyone would like a free trial or demo of Webex, we're able to set that up for any of our clients. So please do get in touch and reach out to us on that. It's pretty simple to set up. Otherwise, yeah, I think we're gonna call it at that. So I'll end the recording here, and please do reach out if you've got any further questions. Thank you very much, and thanks, Sean, for this presentation.
No problem. Thanks, guys.